What happens when a country exists, but doesn't officially exist? Every inch of Cyprus tells a story of civilizations rising and falling, of cultures colliding and merging, of an island caught between continents and empires. But my journey isn't just a travelogue, it's an excavation of history, where each destination peels back another layer of this extraordinary place. We'll discover how this land has been continuously reinvented, where majestic Gothic cathedrals were transformed into mosques, creating architectural hybrids. We'll explore Nicosia, the world's last divided capital, where a UN buffer zone slices through the heart of a city, frozen in political limbo for nearly 50 years. We'll walk in the footsteps of Ottoman merchants through 16th century caravanserais, where traders once rested after journeys across empires. We'll stand among the ruins of Salamis, where 3,000 years of Mediterranean civilization lie scattered across a landscape that has witnessed the rise and fall of countless empires. Welcome to North Cyprus, a place where Google Maps gets confused. You can meet the president at an art gallery, and every stone tells a story that stretches back thousands of years.
Visual directions inside the overhead bin.
Our journey begins flying from Istanbul to Girne airport, crossing over Turkey's southern coastline. Notice how the landscape transitions from the lush green areas around Istanbul to the more arid, sun-scorched terrain of southern Turkey and Cyprus. Flying into Girne airport itself is a political act, as Girne isn't recognised by international aviation authorities. This will be our ride for the weekend, the lovely Fiesta, which had a little bit of wear and tear on it. Was an interesting drive, but it was cheap, so that's a bonus. And of course, it was right-hand drive, which I'm used to from the UK, but I haven't driven on the right side for a while now, so it might take a bit of getting used to. Transportation in North Cyprus is primarily by car, with limited public transport options, making rental cars essential for exploring beyond the main cities. As we head north, you can see the Ismail Safa Jami, the new mosque that is quite blingy. It's covered in gold all around it, and 6 minarets. You can see the English influence everywhere in the country. There's so many more billboards here in English than in Turkey. Here are the Kyrenia mountains, which are incredible. And as you go up to Girne to the north coast, you have to drive through them through this passage, and it is breathtaking. But although these views were amazing, nothing quite prepared us for how beautiful our hotel would be. Our accommodation for the weekend, the amazing Riviera Beach Bungalows. This truly was our little spot of paradise. This is the place where you have breakfast in the morning with an amazing view of the Mediterranean and this incredible exotic garden they have. The grounds here at the hotel are amazing. You've got so many exotic plants. It almost looks like an alien landscape. Some of them are huge. Just to give you an idea of the scale. Oh, Christ. Just to give you an idea of the scale of these things. They're enormous. Cyprus's Mediterranean climate creates the perfect conditions for this incredible botanical diversity. The spiky succulents and cacti you see everywhere are perfectly adapted to store water during the scorching Mediterranean summers, creating these almost desert-like garden landscapes. These massive agave plants aren't native. They were brought here centuries ago and can thrive in the island's warm, dry summers.
This place just kind of feels like a bit of an Alice in Wonderland with all these amazing plants just towering over you, and the colours and the weird shapes and everything. Feels kind of a bit like an Australian sort of style. I've seen some Australian gardens and I see some similar plants here. Obviously the climate would be similar in getting insanely hot in the summer. But I mean, check that out for a backdrop. That's pretty amazing, eh?
As we get down to the sea, there's a few fishermen. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to walk barefoot on any of these rocks. They are razor sharp, sort of volcanic rock. The weather for our trip was kind of perfect. Because we went in mid-May, it wasn't too hot. And speaking of weather, it can change quite frequently here.
And 10 minutes later, we're back to sunny again. Yay!
So, whilst we're here, I must tell you about the hotel rooms. So we had these little sort of chalets, and it's effectively a concrete bunker with a wooden roof and tiled roof built over the top of it. But these are really effective in that they keep you cool in the summer. I mean, I guess it helps that they have an air conditioning unit bolted onto the side as well.
You know, I'm thinking I might just move to Cyprus. Yeah, it's good. Then people remind me what it's like midsummer. I mean, this is the very beginning of May, and it's warm. Come July, August, September, it'll be like a frying pan. Looking for somewhere to plug my laptop in, and okay. I don't have British plugs here. Damn it, I'm looking for Turkish plugs.
Time to head off to Nicosia, the capital. The drive there is pretty spectacular as we go back through the mountains again, this time with a bit more cloud cover. A funny thing about North Cyprus is Google Maps doesn't really understand it and can send you in your car down some strange routes. It really is a city of incredibly beautiful contrasts, going from really dilapidated, sort of broken textures to these beautiful buildings.
One of the reminders you get all the way as you walk across the city here is that it's a city split in half, and even at the car park here you get that reminder as well.
Our car park literally sat on the border wall of the green zone, and you can see these old UN towers in the distance. Southern Cyprus, the Republic of Cyprus, is just literally the other side of that.
Well, we've just managed to park after negotiating the city centre, which was a bit mental, a bit difficult to get through, but yeah, we're here now. It's pretty amazing.
Lefkoşa, the Turkish side of divided Nicosia, where weathered walls tell two stories. The slow decay of buildings abandoned since 1974, and the vibrant street art of young people painting their hopes on a city split by barbed wire and decades of political deadlock. This is the Belediye Pazarı, or the municipal market. It was built in 1932 during the British colonial rule, and sort of performs a central marketplace for the city. Just down the road is Girne, or the Great Inn as it's known, which is a fantastic example of Ottoman architecture in Cyprus. This caravanserais served as a roadside inn where travellers, merchants and their animals could rest during long journeys. And the turrets you can see at the top are actually made as little birdhouses. These days it's been beautifully restored as a type of cultural centre, and it's got lots of artisan workshops, galleries and cafes. So it's kind of like a living museum to the Ottoman heritage. And it also serves some amazing food. Here in the centre is a mesjid, or prayer room. As you head upstairs, you get to see the gallery with some of the craft shops and artisans around. This kind of change of use in a building is really vital in keeping it alive. It will ensure that funds can continue to go towards the restoration. But right now, I'm a bit peckish, so let's grab a bite to eat. This is halloumi gözleme, which is basically a pastry wrapped around halloumi cheese, served with honey. I wasn't entirely convinced, as you can see on my face here. These weathered buildings kind of tell the story of Nicosia's complex history. Many were abandoned during the 1974 conflict and subsequent division. For me, it's just fascinating to see a city like this. You know, it's not been gentrified. There are areas where things have been modernised and repurposed, but some of it just lays raw. The texture and colour of these old structures reveal the layers of architectural influences, the Ottoman, Venetian, the British colonial and modern elements coexisting side by side. So next up is the Salamis Mosque, or the St. Sophia Cathedral as it was originally known. This building perfectly symbolises Cyprus's layered history. It was originally constructed as a Gothic cathedral of St. Sophia in the 13th century. After the Ottoman conquest in 1571, it was converted into a mosque with the addition of minarets. You can see that there are renovations going on at the moment to preserve this remarkable structure that's witnessed almost 800 years of Cypriot history. If you look closely whilst you're wandering around, you can see these little crests, which I'm not sure where they're from, but let me know in the comments if you recognise any of them. That evening, we'd head on to the whole reason we'd come to North Cyprus in the first place, which is a family exhibition. We have an artist in our Turkish family, Elif. We went to see her exhibition, Unseen Daughters. Her works are shaped around women's rights, female figures in mythology, and feminine traces in ancient times, and themes inspired by goddesses. It was a strange but insightful view of Cypriot life. I had an unexpected meeting with the president of North Cyprus, and it highlights the accessibility of public figures in smaller nations. I'm pretty sure this moment wouldn't likely happen in a larger country like Turkey. However, this president did go on to meet President Erdogan the next day. Our next day took us to Girne, which is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful harbours in the Mediterranean. And yes, I'd agree. Girne is also known as Kyrenia, which has existed since the 10th century BC. This is Kyrenia Castle. Research suggests it was originally built by the Byzantines to defend from the Arab invasions. The imposing castle that dominates the harbour has been expanded by various rulers: Byzantines, Crusaders, Venetians, and Ottomans. It first shows up in history in 1191, when King Richard I of England captured it on his way to the Third Crusade. After a while, Richard sold the island to the Knight Templar.
So welcome to the port town of Girne. Very beautiful, stone built, like amazing town.
The harbour is a bit of a mix of tourism and people actually actively working on old wooden boats. It also has an amazing restaurant culture here, with obviously a very heavy seafood influence. The ancient harbour is thought to be thousands of years old and even features in Greek mythology. It has a few of these refurbished old ships, and look, you can see how they've lovingly recreated the water slide on the back of the ship. And with the mountains in the background, it just creates one of the most picture postcard perfect shots. Along the promenade a little is a sign of why many Turks flock to North Cyprus every year. Casinos represent a significant part of North Cyprus's tourist economy, attracting visitors primarily from Turkey, where gambling is prohibited. This economic niche developed when Turkey banned casinos in the 90s, and North Cyprus became to many the Monaco of Turkey. Another economic adaptation to regional politics is the alcohol trade, with prices much lower than in Turkey due to the different tax regulations. Turkish visitors often stock up here. But now it's back to the harbour for some food. Cypriot cuisine blends Greek, Turkish and Middle Eastern influences, with seafood naturally playing a prominent role in its island nation. The meze tradition perfectly embodies Mediterranean dining culture. Multiple small plates shared communally.
I'm driving the car. I don't know what to start with. So good.
Fresh fish and mixed kebabs show the perfect fusion of marine and agricultural traditions that define Cypriot gastronomy. The next day would see us winding back through the mountains of Kyrenia to head to the eastern city of Famagusta.
It's much easier driving here than it is in Turkey. Definitely Istanbul. People are a little bit just nice and kind. Turkey is very aggressive, offensive driving. Here it's much more calm, defensive driving. But I mean, that can be put down also to the fact it's a holiday island for a lot of people, so things calm down a bit. So yeah, it's generally really nice to drive here. And I get to drive on the left again.
Famagusta's impressive walls were primarily built by the Venetians in the 15th and 16th centuries to defend against Ottoman expansion. Standing up to 15 metres high and 9 metres thick in places, they're among the best preserved medieval fortifications in the Mediterranean. These walls withstood a famous Ottoman siege in 1571 before finally falling, an event that inspired Shakespeare's play Othello. From this vantage point, you can appreciate the strategic importance of Famagusta as a port city throughout Mediterranean history. The numerous church ruins throughout Famagusta testified to its past as a wealthy Christian city, with reportedly 365 churches, one for each day of the year. Many were damaged during the Ottoman siege and subsequent earthquake, while others were converted to mosques following Ottoman conquest. The Church of Saints Peter and Paul, or the Bude Mosque as it's known today. Built in the 14th century in the French Gothic style, this church reflects the prosperity of medieval Famagusta under Lusinian rule. After the Ottoman conquest, it was converted into the Sinan Pasha Mosque, later renamed Bude Mosque as it was used for storing grain. Now reduced to these fragments and surrounding a car park, the Venetian palace once served as the residence for Venetian governors of Cyprus. The transformation from palace to parking lot symbolises how history in North Cyprus is often casually integrated into modern life, rather than cordoned off. Visible from almost anywhere in Famagusta is the St. Nicholas Cathedral, or as it's known today, the Lala Mustafa Pasha Mosque. Today, you can sit outside and enjoy an ice cream while looking at this incredible structure. This magnificent Gothic cathedral was built between 1298 and 1400, inspired by the Rheims Cathedral in France. and it was the coronation site for Lusinian kings. The 700-year-old tree outside potentially witnessed the cathedral's construction, the city's golden age, the bloody siege, and the centuries of subsequent history. This building represents the most dramatic example of Gothic architecture in the Eastern Mediterranean, showcasing the far reach of European architectural influence. After the Ottoman conquest in 1571, it was converted into a mosque with minarets added and Christian imagery removed or plastered over. Today, it's an active mosque, but still retains all of that original beauty. There are so many ruins and sites to investigate around Famagusta. Some of them don't even have names, but this one does. The Church of St. George of the Greeks, once the main Orthodox cathedral for Famagusta's Greek population. This 14th century church now stands as a haunting ruin. But let's take a quick break for a snack. The petek pasta hanesi. This traditional dessert shop has a unique interior. It's even got this little bird cage outside. Inside, it has a lot of traditional elements that come together to create this beautiful shop. Turkish and Cypriot sweets like baklava, künefe, and lokum, which is Turkish delight, represent culinary traditions dating back centuries. Inside, it's a treasure trove of cultural and historic elements. And of course, some amazing cakes and desserts. And right outside the back door, Famagusta's sea wall. The sea gate served as Famagusta's main entrance from the harbour, watched over by the Venetian Lion of St. Mark, a symbol of Venice's maritime empire. From these walls, you can see the modern port that continues Famagusta's long tradition as a vital Mediterranean shipping centre. The contrast between preserved medieval walls and functional modern port reflects North Cyprus's position between heritage preservation and economic development. So now it's time to say goodbye to Famagusta and visit its ancient predecessor just down the road. The ancient city of Salamis, which had a bit of a party atmosphere going on in the background. Welcome to the ancient city of Salamis. You can hear the parties going on in the background on the beach, as I'll just show you a quick clip. It's absolutely banging back there, and I'm sure the ancient party goers in this ancient city would appreciate that. Salamis was one of the most important ancient cities on Cyprus, with a history stretching back to the 11th century BCE. These extensive ruins include a gymnasium, theatre, baths and basilica, showing the evolution from Greek to Roman to Byzantine influence. Here you can see us taking a dip in an ancient bath.
Oh, it's hot! Oh. Water is beautiful.
Archaeological excavations were interrupted by the 1974 conflict, and international archaeological cooperation remains complicated by the political situation. This is the theatre constructed by the Roman Emperor Augustus between 27 BC and 14 AD. The original theatre had 15,000 seats arranged in 50 rows. Unfortunately, it was destroyed in earthquakes in the 4th century. The juxtaposition of ancient ruins with a modern beach club banging house music in the background perfectly encapsulates modern-day North Cyprus, where history, politics, and tourism create a unique cultural landscape. North Cyprus offers a remarkable journey through the layers of Mediterranean history, from ancient Salamis to medieval castles, Ottoman caravanserais, and into the complex politics of today. What makes this place truly special is how these historical threads remain visible and intertwined with daily life, unlike more manicured tourist destinations. Here, history feels authentic, sometimes crumbling, often repurposed, but always present. I hope this glimpse into my journey inspires you to explore beyond the familiar and discover places like North Cyprus, where every street corner tells a story spanning thousands of years.